we're leaving the juniors at basically, yeah. No, I will, other than Wednesday and Thursday.
How'd that go?
Other than next Wednesday and
Oh.
Thursday.
Did the assignment make sense though? What's what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's working. We're going to try this again at the end of class. This was just kind of a dry run, like a practice, but you're going to speak that to the whole class at the end of today's class period. All right, so we're going to focus on cleaning up the crap out of our speech. Excuse my language. I want to show you a video of a poor speaker. We're going to listen to the video twice. Flip your worksheet over. The first time we listen, count the number of sentences by just putting a hatch mark on your paper, like a tally, every time the student finishes a sentence. And then we're going to do it again, and you're going to count the student's fillers. Fillers are little sounds or words like I mean, so pretty much, basically, you know, those meaningless sounds that we say when we don't know what to say. Listen once for the number of sentences, and then again for the number of fillers. Tatiana.
Do you want us to do this on the video clip 1 or video clip 2?
Video clip 1. Thank you for asking. Let me just double check my handout. Yeah, so, hang on. Yeah, that's video clip 1. I'm sorry, yes, bottom of the first page. Thank you, Tatiana. Here we go. You guys are incredibly annoying. Here we go.
Okay. Good morning. How's everyone doing? First, I'd like to preface the occasion by thanking Professor Christmas for giving me all this time to get ready and prepared to speak to you. I'd like to thank you for everybody for the opportunity to speak again. I'd first like to say thank you for the opportunity, and second, to let you all know that I'm not sick with some like freaky disease or something. I know my face is looking a little bit scary today. I don't look like Freddy Krueger, man. I'm not a Versace. I'm okay though, it's fine. I was asked today to speak about the 3 most embarrassing things that have ever happened to me. And I gotta say, it's kind of hard when you're as very perfect as I am. I'm just kidding, it wasn't that hard. First would probably be this. Speaking in general is very hard for me. I don't like to do it, especially today after post-surgery. Yesterday I got microneedling on my cheeks and Botox in my forehead. So that's...
Okay. What'd you guys get for sentences?
I got 8.
Okay, anybody get anything different?
8. I got 8, and I feel like there's one wrong.
You got the... I'm surprised you all got the same number. In a way, this was a trick question. It is impossible to count this young man's sentences because he's not speaking in complete sentences. It's just bleh, right? And most of it's run on 3. Okay, I was expecting you guys to kind of be all over the map. The fact that you all got 8 was kind of a miracle. I'm not sure how it happened. So, now there is a definite answer, I think, to the fillers. Although with the sound quality, it's kind of hard to hear. He says, and so. So see if you can count these. How many of each? The uhs and the ums are a little hard to distinguish.
Okay. Good morning. How's everyone doing? First, I'd like to preface the occasion by thanking Professor Christmas for giving me all this time to get ready and prepared to speak to you. I'd like to thank you for everybody for the opportunity to speak again. I'd first like to say thank you for the opportunity, and second, to let you all know that I'm not sick with some like freaky disease or something. I know my face is looking a little bit scary today. I don't look like Freddy Krueger, man. I'm not a Versace. I'm okay though, it's fine. I was asked today to speak about the 3 most embarrassing things that have ever happened to me. And I gotta say, it's kind of hard when you're as very perfect as I am. I'm just kidding, it wasn't that hard. First would probably be this. Speaking in general is very hard for me. I don't like to do it, especially today after post-surgery. Yesterday I got microneedling on my cheeks and Botox in my forehead. So that's why I have the lovely facial expressions I do.
Okay. How many uhs or ums did you guys get?
Seven.
7. Wow, you got more than me. I got 6.
I got 8 because I counted the very last one.
Yeah,
the
so
dual
that's
consonant.
Good. So you guys, that was pretty on target. Anybody get anything different?
I got
5. So yeah, that's pretty close. Is anyone completely clue? You have no idea what we're counting. So you can hear the fillers, right? Keep training yourself to listen for other people's fillers. Eventually you will start to hear your own. And just being aware of them is the first step to eliminating them. I used to use them all the time. And then I started teaching speech classes and listening for other people's language. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have to get rid of this from my speech. It's terrible. Let's listen to clip number 2. So flip the worksheet over. This is an example of a stronger speaker found by one of you. Here he is. Found by Josh, I believe.
This is what it looks like, and this is what it feels like.
War is a nightmare. War is awful. It is indifferent and devastating and evil. War is hell. But war is also an incredible teacher, a brutal teacher. And it teaches you lessons that you will not forget. In war, you are forced to see humanity at its absolute worst. And you are also blessed to see humanity in its most glorious moments.
Okay, how many complete sentences did you guys get? I got 7. Anybody else get 7? Good. He does pause in the middle of sentences, right? He keeps adding clauses, and yet the sentences are still very clear. He finishes a sentence, pauses, and then starts the next one. Okay, we're going to listen again. This time just write out one complete sentence that he uses.
War is a nightmare. War is awful. It is indifferent and devastating and evil. War is hell. But war is also an incredible teacher, a brutal teacher. And it teaches you lessons that you will not forget. In war, you are forced to see humanity at its absolute worst. And you are also blessed to see humanity in its most glorious moments.
So what is one complete sentence that he uses? Tatiana?
Words also refer to the teacher.
Yeah, perfect. Rebecca? He goes on. It's not quite finished. Yeah, so finish out the sentence. So he stops there, he pauses there, but the sentence isn't quite finished. At its absolute worst, I think he said, right? Good. Other examples? Some of his sentences only have 3 words. War is a nightmare. 4 words. That's war is hell. Those are complete sentences. Good. So we're going to spend some time talking. This is much closer to what you want to do when you speak. You don't have to imitate his style, of course. That's a personal choice. But you need to speak in clear, complete sentences. And the shorter those sentences are, the better. Better. Without run-ons, without fillers, without fragments. So we're going to spend some time talking about what complete sentences are, looking at simple sentences and complex sentences, and then talking about what run-ons, fillers, and fragments are. And then you're going to retry that little introductory speech with clear, complete sentences. So what is a complete sentence? Think back into grammar school. What makes a sentence complete? Yes, Sam. Definitely extra points for you. All it has to have is a subject and a main verb. Know this, because the key to speaking in clear, complete sentences is just to go straight to your subject. The subject is the doer of the action. The verb is the action itself. So if you focus your thinking and your speaking on knowing what your subject and your main verb are, you're going to be able to speak in clear, complete sentences. Here's an example. Students eat. That is a complete sentence. Can anyone think of another example with just 2 words? Tatiana? I am. I am is a complete sentence, believe it or not. You can put stuff on it, like a direct object. Students eat pizza. Doer, action, object of the action. The pizza is what gets eaten. With a verb, with a sentence like I am, you're using a linking verb, a form of the verb to be, which you stick on the end as a predicate, noun, or adjective. I am hungry. Hungry is an adjective. War is hell. Hell is a noun. But you can have 3 words here to make the sentence more complex. The articles a and the introduce nouns. You stick them on the front of a noun to make them more specific. The students eat pizza. Is there another article we could put in there?
Many.
That would be an adjective. So you're ahead of me a little bit. Modifiers, adjectives and adverbs, qualify our nouns and our verbs to make them more precise or to explain what aspect of that noun we're talking about. So adjectives modify nouns, and they usually come before the noun. Adverbs modify verbs, and they can come before or after. So here would be an example. We could say many students. Many would be an adjective. Or we could say the hungry students eat pizza. Hungry is an adjective. Can anyone think of an adjective that could modify pizza?
Nasty.
Nasty pizza. The hungry students eat nasty pizza. Good. Okay. This is an adverb. Voraciously. Adverbs in English often have the ly on the end of them. That's how you can recognize them. The hungry students eat pizza voraciously. So we've added an adverb to the sentence. These are still simple sentences because they're hinged around a subject and a main verb, and that's it. Once you start adding prepositional phrases and subordinate clauses, then the sentences become complex. You need to be able to master linguistic complexity, but as a beginning speaker, focus on keeping your sentences as simple as possible. So here we go. Prepositions connect a word to another noun. What are some examples of prepositions? In is a preposition. What else? Out of could be one. You know your grammar. That's fantastic. Out, over, under. Good. So the hungry students eat pizza voraciously in the study buddy. Ahmed, what is another prepositional phrase we could add there? Can you think of one with a preposition without? Anybody else? What else could we stick in there? Around. So the preposition would take a noun after it. Around campus. Hungry students eat pizza voraciously in the study buddy and around campus. So that's how you use prepositions. What are the relative pronouns? You need to know this. This is basic language, basic grammar you guys absolutely need to know. It will definitely be on our next quiz.
What do you like wear?
Clothes.
Like, I would use in some meetings, just like in the morning or something.
Okay, the relative pronouns that I'm aware of are who, whom, and which. Sometimes that. And they stand in for a noun that's in your sentence and enable you to connect a whole other sentence called a subordinate clause. So the hungry students eat pizza, which is from Little Caesars, voraciously in the study buddy. You know it's a subordinate clause when you can cut it out of the sentence and the sentence is still complete and makes sense. So which is from Little Caesars is complete. The which is referring back to pizza. Or you might say the hungry students who have very little money, who would be the relative pronoun. Who have very little money would be the subordinate clause. You need to be able to recognize these so you can use them correctly in your own speaking and peel them away when you don't need them. The conjunctions and or can connect nouns or verbs. The hungry students and professors eat pizza, which is from Little Caesars, voraciously in the study buddy. So you can have two subjects of your verb, the students and the professors eat. The hungry students eat pizza, which is from Little Caesars, or salad, voraciously in the study buddy. So and or are conjunctions. They can be used to connect nouns or verbs. Okay, the conjunctions and, or, but, and if then can join whole sentences to create compound sentences. This is what Josh's speaker, Jocko Willink, was doing so artfully. He would end a sentence, but then he'd use the word and or but to introduce the next sentence, really connecting them into one whole compound, but without making the sentence feel like a run-on. So we can say, the hungry students and professors eat pizza, which is from Little Caesars. Oh wait, I forgot the if. We stick an if. Go back. Here we go. If the hungry students and professors eat pizza, which is from Little Caesars, voraciously in the study buddy, then they will be late for class. So this is a whole other sentence which is tacked on at the end. We can do the same thing with but they will be late for class. So just recognize that when you're using one of these conjunctions, and, or, and but, you may be creating compound sentences. This is a temptation of many beginning speakers. When you listen to your oral exams and your opening interviews, look for those run-ons where you're connecting a long string of sentences with the conjunction and. One thing you need to learn to do is to just drop that out. Finish the sentence and put a period at the end of it, and then start a new thought. Now make your own series. I've heard some of you writing already. Walk through these same steps. In your worksheet, on the flip side, create a simple sentence starting with just subject and verb only. Don't use any of what I use. Do something completely different. Add an article, add modifiers, add a prepositional phrase, add a relative pronoun, add a conjunction, and we won't do infinitives. We'll skip that for today. Has anybody done it already? Okay, who has an example of a simple sentence? Shoot it at me. We write, that works. And what was yours, Sam? People talk, excellent. Now, add an article to we write. We can't really, or no, don't fit. Add a direct object to rewrite, Jalen. Add a direct object. Now you can add an article, or the, what would you put in? Good. Add some modifiers. Give me some modifiers to we write the papers. Sounds good. Is that an adverb or an adjective? Adjectives modify nouns, adverbs modify verbs. What is spontaneously, anybody? Adverb, good. We could say we spontaneously write the papers. It's another way to arrange the sentence. How about an adjective for the papers? What kind of papers are there? Short. Good. We write the short paper spontaneously. Now, how about a relative pronoun? Which, who, that, or whom? Which? Anybody have another example? Shoot me another one from somebody else's worksheet. Anybody have a sentence with a relative pronoun creating a subordinate clause? Do we need to review what relative pronouns are?
We write short papers, which are teachers.
Which are teachers? Great, outstanding. Okay. A conjunction, and, or but. Somebody else who has another sentence already? With a conjunction in it? Alexis.
The young kids ran eagerly in the park,
Excellent.
but stopped. Will that be fine?
That's great. That's perfect. Yeah, that's really even a compound sentence. So kids ran is your basic simple sentence, right? And then you added, you made it more complex. Young kids ran eagerly in the park, but stopped. The pronoun they is understood. That's perfect. Outstanding. You got one to Sincere?
I just have a question
Go ahead.
about the relative pronoun.
Yeah. You're not sure what that is?
Yeah.
Let me try to describe it in another way. Can you see the board okay despite the light? So, what the relative pronoun does is it kind of jumps into, or it replicates the noun to start another sentence. So give me your simple sentence.
He ran.
Okay, he ran, perfect. That's a great example of a simple sentence. So, let's give this person a name. Give me a name.
Bob.
Bob. So, Bob ran is a simple sentence. But you want to say something about Bob. You want to tell us something about who he is, and you want to put that into the sentence. What does he do for a living? Just make up something.
Bob, the builder.
Well, make it a sentence. What does he do for a living? He what? Awesome, Bob. And so you use the pronoun who to sort of represent him in another sentence. I mean, you could just say Bob runs marathons, but instead you're saying Bob, who runs marathons, ran. So relative pronouns represent a noun that's already in your sentence and enable you to introduce a whole other sentence describing that noun. So you would probably write this with commas. Bob, comma, who runs marathons, ran a 5K. Something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Any questions? We're going to try using these in the instruction pages. I want to keep moving, but keep working on these if you still are. Oh, Rebecca, question.
I wanted to see if like I just
Yeah, read it out. Let's hear it.
I put we run 5 gruesome miles every practice and we hate it.
That's a compound sentence. So we run is your simple sentence. We run miles would be the direct object. 5 in gruesome or adjectives modifying it. Every practice or in practice.
Every practice.
Every practice would be kind of like, that would be an adverb modifying run.
Okay.
And then your conjunction is and we hate it. Great. Can you think of a way to put a relative pronoun in there? Who, which, what, or whom? Which our coach makes us do.
Our coach makes us run 5 gruesome miles every practice.
How about this? We run 5 gruesome miles, which our coach makes us do every practice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the which is the relative pronoun. It's describing those miles. I want to keep on, to keep writing, and if you kind of need to pick my brain about this a little bit more, let's do it towards the end of class. We only have half an hour. We need to move forward. Okay. As a beginning speaker, you want to strip away complexity. Be aware of what grammatical complexity is and how to use it. But as a beginning speaker, you want to strip it away and use the simplest, shortest, clearest sentences possible. Begin by zeroing in on the subject of your sentence. That will help you cut through BS. Get straight to the point. And end your sentences when you finish your thought. Too many people tend to make their sentences go on and on and on by repeating the same idea, right? Or just BSing. So finish your thought and put a period at the end of your sentence. Nothing is worse than the person who does not know how to stop talking. So let me run over what fragments, fillers, and run-ons are so you can avoid those. We'll look at maybe an example if we have time. A fragment is a piece of a sentence that is unfinished. Bless you. Fragments happen. Well, sometimes they happen. I mean, I hear these a lot in oral exams when students, well, they interrupt themselves. Do you see what I'm saying? You start a sentence, but then you don't finish it. You kind of interrupt yourself and start something different. I've got a really short clip where you're going to see a student doing an impromptu speech answer the question, if I had $10 million, and she stops and interrupts herself and starts a whole new sentence. Terrible speaker.
I didn't go in the store.
Look at her posture too, it's terrible. Scratching her butt.
Hello, Mr. Elatorre. My name is Brenda Lynch, and this is my impromptu speech for Hutchinson Community College.
Listen to this.
If I had $10 million, well, first, the government...
So she interrupted herself. She could have just said, if I had $10 million, I'd pay off my college tuition. but it takes her half a minute to say that because she fills it up with BS. So you want to avoid fragments by not interrupting yourself when you speak. Okay, so it's an example of a fragment. A run-on is a sentence that never ends. Kind of like verbal vomit. People who just don't know how to put a period at the end of it. Every year in my group discussion classes, Renee knows this, like in philosophy, there's always that one person who doesn't know how to shut up. And I find myself having to interrupt them. So finish your thought, put a period at the end of it. So again, zeroing in on the subject and main verb in your sentence will help you to avoid that. Let's see, we won't listen to her. She's annoying. A filler is a meaningless sound that we utter when we don't know what to say. We talked about this a little bit already. I mean, basically, pretty much, did you know, and so, are the most common fillers that I am aware of. When I am listening to oral exams, I will typically mark those in the right-hand margin of the page with little hatch marks. So I'll do it for a few of your sentences. Every time you utter a filler, I'll put a hatch mark down there. And if it gets to the point where you've used 5 or 6, then you're not going to make it to that next level in speaking that you want to make it to. Fillers are a sign of an undisciplined mind. If sounds are coming out of your mouth that don't mean anything, then you are not thinking clearly. So clean your house of speech of fillers and throw them away. And strive to do that today. I do want to show you this because this is an example of a bad job interview. Not only does she use too many fillers, but she even acknowledges that she has not thought about herself. The interviewer is asking her the question, tell me about yourself. And she admits, I haven't thought about this way about myself before. So her performance comes across as very weak. She may in fact be a talented prospect, but she does not know how to talk about her own abilities. So let's just take a look at this sample. This will be the last clip I show you.
And there's a deadline.
This isn't going well.
They're not prepared.
Are you serious? What's wrong with this picture?
I'm disappointed.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm hardworking. If you give me a project to do and there's a deadline that it needs to be done, I can put my head down and focus on that and get the project done. Sorry, I don't mean to giggle. This is a hard question. I haven't thought this way about myself. I'm very honest. You ask me something, I'll tell you the truth. Sorry. Yes, I'm hardworking, I'm honest. My friends would tell you that I'm pretty easygoing, that I'm real easy to be around, and I don't really make waves or anything at work, so I'm a really good employee that way. Let's see, what else? I guess that's about it.
Part of her problem is that she is not able to narrate a specific experience that supports her claims about herself. She says she's honest. She says she's hardworking. She says she's easy to get along with. Well, prove it. You've got to tell that prospective employer about a specific experience that supports your claims about who you are. We're going to try that. That's our practice or our drill for the day is for you each to do this in speech in front of the class, which will be a little bit intimidating, but you're going to introduce yourself to the class. Stay at your seat, but we're going to need everyone seated around the horseshoe so that we can all see each other. Part of your task will be to make eye contact with everyone. We're still practicing that. So you're going to be looking around the room. It might be looking to your side to look at everyone when you speak. Breathe deeply so you can relax and project your voice across the room. You have to be able to speak to that person who's sitting, what is this, maybe 20, 25 feet away from you. You're going to speak extemporaneously. Do not read from your sheet. In fact, I'm going to have you guys just put it aside or put it on the floor. You're speaking off the top of your head, but you're prepared. You're going to tell us your name as if we had no idea who you were. Tell us something about your role, and then your virtues. Tell us your virtues, and then narrate an example of a time when you showed that virtue. Try to keep it to 2 minutes. I'm gonna give this a shot. See if I can do it. I can't do it. It's pretty hypocritical. See, I'm gonna get a little stopwatch out here. See if I can keep it to 2 minutes. My name is Joan Christ. I am an associate professor of theology at Calumet College of St. Joseph. I strive for honesty and integrity in my life. I still vividly recall a time in my young life when those virtues were put to the test. The summer after I graduated from college, I had an internship in a microbiology lab affiliated with Penn State University in Hershey, Pennsylvania. There were 3 interns, myself and 2 others, the lab director and a graduate assistant, and we were breeding fruit flies. One day, the professor pulled a tray of test tubes with fruit fly larvae in them out of the incubator, and he said, "Who labeled these test tubes?" There was something wrong with the way they were labeled. I froze, and my heart stopped because I recognized my handwriting. I had a split second to decide. Do I tell the truth, or do I stay quiet and hope that they don't realize it was my mistake? I told the truth, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and it set the experiment back a couple of weeks, no mistake. But to my surprise, at the end of the summer, the professor offered me a permanent job in the lab. And to this day, I still think that it was partly because I had chosen honesty and integrity at that particular difficult moment. 1:35. So do something like this. Yes, you